Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're going to be doing our next set of slides, which is on the Americas in our Explorers PowerPoint. So I'm just going to walk you through again. Our skill is relationships and interaction. So we're going to be talking about how these explorers coming to America changed the American landscape, not only for us, but for the millions of Native Americans that lived here originally. So as we talk about explorers, remember that their purpose was to come over and find new land, report back to their home country, to find wealth, to find goodies, to find new things, whether it's animals or furs or timber or anything. And then to take those things and to send them back to their home country, and then to claim lands and other things in their home country. So I'm going to go into presentation mode right now so we can go ahead and get started on our assignment. So our assignment for today is actually going to be on Google Classroom. It is the second assignment down. It is the Explorers Triumphs and Troubles. You're going to click on that and it will open up for you in Pearson Realize. The third assignment that we're going to do, or the other assignment we need is the third link down, which is this Explorers on Google Slides. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of put these side by side here. So that way I have my Pearson Realize Reader open and I have my Explorers PowerPoint side by side. As you can see, we have pages 12 through 19 to read today. We have 2 videos to watch, and we have 4 questions to answer. So these are going to get into a little more of like why and should have and what's the connection between these. So lots of good questions that we need to be paying attention to and answer. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm here on page 12, the Americas. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. I love a table of contents. Table of contents are awesome because it just takes you right to the right page. You don't have to wait on it. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to the read.
The Americas. Cortez and the Aztecs. In 1504, at the age of 18, Hernan Cortez traveled to the New World from Spain. Like many Spaniards who went to the New World, Cortez was a conquistador. This word comes from the Spanish word for conqueror. The conquistadors did not aim to become peaceful farmers. They went to find riches, and they weren't afraid to fight for them. These riches were sometimes gold or silver or valuable lands, which they took from the people they conquered. The conquistadors quickly took over the largest Caribbean islands, killing or enslaving local people. Their next step was to take over the mainland of Mexico. Pacific Ocean, Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea, North America, New Spain, Tenochtitlan, Tlaxcala, Aztec Empire, Veracruz, Yucatan, Honduras, Cuba, Santiago, Florida.
By mid-1519, Cortez and his men had reached the lands of the Tlaxcalans. Wow, that is a lot harder than I thought to say. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next page.
Cortez on the mainland. In 1519, Cortez led the first conquistador expedition to Mexico in search of riches. With him were about 600 well-armed Spaniards. Cortez soon heard stories about the huge, powerful Aztec Empire. The Aztec temples were said to be full of gold. On hearing this, Cortez decided to head for Tenochtitlan, the Aztec capital city, to find his fortune. Journey Fact File. Date: 1519. Ships in fleet: 11. Number of men: about 600. Weapons: swords, shields, crossbows. Dangers: attack by local people, sickness. Taking sides. On their journey to Tenochtitlan, the conquistadors fought battles with the people whose lands they were crossing. Among them were the Tlaxcalans, who fought very hard and almost defeated the conquistadors. However, the Tlaxcalan leaders then decided to join the Spanish conquistadors. Together, they made a large and powerful army to fight the Aztecs.
Okay, so let's check in with our questions. Why did Cortez want to conquer the Aztecs? Cortez wanted to conquer the Aztecs because, let's go back and make sure we have the right answer. They had a strong and powerful army to fight the Aztecs. Well, he wanted them because the Aztec temples were said to be full of gold. Of course, money, the almighty dollar. The reason why people want to explore to these lands, if you remember from slide number 5, there were 4 reasons: looking for land, routes, fame and glory, and money, dollar bills. So we're saying Cortez wanted to conquer the Aztecs because of gold. So super important. Now the question here asks, what do you think? Should he have done this? So let's continue because we're going to read a little bit further in about Cortez.
Cortez reaches Tenochtitlan. When the joined forces of the conquistadors and the Tlaxcalans reached Tenochtitlan, the Aztec emperor Montezuma was not eager to meet them. He sent them gifts of gold, hoping this would make the Spanish go away. But the sight of gold only made the conquistadors more determined to gain riches. Finally, Montezuma could no longer hold the Spanish back, so he welcomed them to Tenochtitlan. Badly behaved guests. Cortez was technically Montezuma's guest, but he was a very badly behaved one. He soon took Montezuma prisoner. This was a normal tactic for conquistadors, who often captured local leaders and then forced them to rule as they wanted. Cortez had to leave Tenochtitlan in April 1520 to fight off a rival group of conquistadors who also wanted to rule Tenochtitlan. While he was gone, a member of his army killed a large group of Aztec nobles. This caused the Aztecs to fight back, and the conquistadors had to flee. What do you think? Should Cortez have attacked the Aztec Empire? The Aztecs built their empire by attacking and conquering other people. So was Cortez only doing to the Aztecs what they had done to others?
And that's a pretty big question because you're trying to decide whether or not the Aztecs kind of deserved it. Was it karma? What goes around comes around? Or do you think to yourself, the Spanish brought diseases, the Spanish brought weapons, the Spanish brought so many different things that the Aztecs just didn't have in their power. So it was kind of unfair. It was an unfair fight. And in that case, maybe Cortez should not have led this expedition, and Cortez should not have gone into Tenochtitlan, and he should not have taken Montezuma prisoner.
The capture of Tenochtitlan. After fleeing, the conquistadors and the Tlaxcalans soon returned. They surrounded Tenochtitlan, and in August 1521, it was captured from the Aztecs. The huge Aztec Empire became part of New Spain, and although many local rulers were left in place, the Spanish were in control. The gold, silver, and other wealth of the Aztecs now belonged to the Spanish. Triumph. Cortez was a bold adventurer and a great leader. The gold and silver he got from Mexico made Spain rich and powerful, and once they had conquered the Aztec Empire, the Spanish left many local rulers in place. By August 1521, Cortez and his conquistadors had defeated the Aztec Empire. Or trouble. Cortez was a ruthless, cruel man and was only interested in making himself rich. The Aztec Empire's wealth was taken back to Spain, leaving the local people with very little. Local leaders were controlled by the Spanish and could not make their own decisions.
Okay, so that information from Triumph and Trouble will definitely help you answer the question here. Should Cortez have conquered the Aztec Empire? Now, this isn't one that I can really help you with a bunch, just simply because everyone has their own opinion. After reading those 4 pages that we did at the top here, and also I would encourage you to pause this video and go ahead and watch about Hernan Cortez in this video from History Channel. I would encourage you to watch that and then decide before you move on to the bottom half of this reading. So you have to just decide, should Cortez have conquered the Aztec Empire? Why or why not? And make sure to use references from the text. Okay, if you didn't pause the video or if you've paused and joined us back, we're going to go ahead and look at the bottom 4 pages, which is about the search for El Dorado. I'm going to go back into my reader, go to the next page, and we're going to go ahead and listen to this Road to El Dorado, which they also made into a movie. So if you have Disney Plus and you're looking for something to watch that may coincide, you could even tell your parents it's for a reading project. But The Road to El Dorado, The Search for El Dorado, is a true story, and we're going to hear about that now.
The Americas. The search for El Dorado. Almost as soon as they arrived in the New World, Spanish conquistadors became obsessed with the legendary figure named El Dorado, which is Spanish for the Golden One. He was said to be a local ruler with almost limitless supplies of gold, and the conquistadors wanted to get their hands on it. Expedition from Quito. In 1541, a group of 200 conquistadors, along with about 4,000 local people, and a variety of horses and dogs, set off to hunt for El Dorado. They left the city of Quito, in what is now Ecuador, in February, and headed toward the Andes Mountains. By December 1541, the explorers had crossed the Andes Mountains, but the expedition was rapidly running out of supplies. After 18 months, the explorers reached the Coca River. They had spent much of those months wandering around in the rainforest, trying to find information about the location of El Dorado. The conquistadors were now getting very hungry, and they badly needed help. Their leader, Gonzalo Pizarro, decided that they should build a boat. The boat would travel downstream, and the men would collect food and come back. Pizarro chose an officer named Francisco de Orellana to captain the boat. On December 26, 1541, Orellana and 58 men set off to find help. What do you think? Why did the conquistadors keep searching for El Dorado? After leaving Quito, the conquistadors raided local villages for food, and they questioned the people living there to find out where El Dorado was. Might the villagers have realized that a good way to make the Spanish go away was to tell them El Dorado was far away from their villages?
Makes sense, right? If you're trying to find someone and this is your land and someone comes and says, hey, we know he was here, where is he now? You want these people out of your land as quickly as possible. So you're going to say, oh, you know what? I heard that he was over in this town or he had gone to this community, because that will get them out of your hair, so to speak. So this question here, why did the conquistadors continue searching for the road to El Dorado? Okay, so El Dorado, remember, is a person. So the conquistadors wanted to continue, let's not say wanted, let's say the conquistadors continued searching for El Dorado because what did they want? Yes, they wanted that money. They wanted that gold. Those are all the things that they wanted. They wanted to have, to be rich, to have all these spoils and splendor. And they thought, oh, I just got to find that El Dorado, the golden one. He knows where all the gold is. He's hoarding all the gold somewhere. So the conquistadors continued searching for El Dorado because they wanted that money. They wanted that gold. They wanted everything El Dorado had. The last question is very similar to question 2. I can't really help you much with that, but we'll go ahead and read the next sections and just ask, do you think Orellana's exploration was a triumph or a trouble, and why?
Downstream to the Napo. At first, things did not go well for Orellana and his men. They got so hungry searching for food that they ate the boiled soles of their shoes. Finally, they found a village and food. But instead of going back to the rest of the expedition as Pizarro had instructed, Orellana and his men continued downriver away from the rest. What do you think? Why did Orellana continue downriver? Orellana claimed that his men refused to return to their companions, and the river's powerful flow made it impossible anyway. Was this true? Or might Orellana and his men have been dreaming of finding El Dorado alone?
Well, if you think about it, if you find El Dorado with your men, then that's less people you have to split the rewards between. Some people say, well, the current of a river is so strong, it's almost impossible unless you just get out and walk all the way back, which, of course, we all know is much farther distance than you would have traveled just by boat. So Orellana, he's trying to make a decision here about going back, and he obviously decided not to. So the reasons behind that are questionable. Whether he did it because he said it was just too hard to go back, or whether he did it like, if we go ahead without them, we don't have to split the reward later.
Amazon attack. Eventually, Orellana and his companions spilled out into a large river, which he named the Rio de Orellana. A fierce band of what they thought were women then attacked the explorers. The attackers were probably men from the Yagua people, wearing brass skirts, but the story reminded people of a mythical group of female warriors from ancient Greece called Amazons. From then on, people started calling the river the Amazon, which is the name it still has today.
And is this a good time for me to sing the Wonder Woman theme song? Because that's exactly where it comes from, that she was an Amazon, that in ancient Greece, they believed that there was a strong band of female warriors. Of course, if you've seen Wonder Woman, then you know about Zeus and Diana, and in that case, Yeah, Aries. So in that case, yeah, definitely they believed in those myths from ancient Greece and decided that they would name the river Amazon.
The Atlantic Ocean. Eventually, Oriana and his men reached the Atlantic Ocean. They turned north up the coast, and by September 11th, 1542, they had reached the Spanish settlement on Cubagua Island, where they found safety.
So then our last two parts are going to be triumph or trouble, where we decide, do we think this mission by Oriana was a triumph or a trouble, and why?
Triumph. Oriana was a brilliant explorer. He led his men on one of history's most amazing journeys. They endured starvation, constant attacks, and illness to reach safety. Or trouble. Oriana was a ruthless adventurer, prepared to cheat and kill for wealth. He abandoned his companions on the Coca River and then blamed his own men for not turning back once they had found food. For the people of the Amazon, the arrival of the Spanish was a catastrophe. Many of those who were not killed died later of European diseases, which were introduced by the Spanish.
Okay, so lots of information to consider. But on number 4, which is our last question for these slides, you have to answer if you think Oriana's exploration was a triumph or a trouble and why. And the thing I like is you can always refer back to these blue sections here to decide whether you believe this was a triumph and support it with evidence or a trouble and support it with evidence. There's also a video here that you can watch to help you with questions 3 and 4, just like you can watch the video of Hernan Cortez to help you with questions 1 and 2. Remember that you could pause this video at any time so you can finish writing in the time required, and then make sure to keep on the right pages every day, so stay caught up because you don't want to find yourself behind. Remember that for today's daily agenda, it's Friday, so you have grammar page 99. You have no red ink. You have this Explorer slide, which we just did. You have podcast 149. You have Wax Museum slides about adult life. You have your social studies magazine on the New Nation and an Edpuzzle video. So you have plenty of time to get this all done. You just have to stay focused and do one thing at a time. That's it for today. So check back tomorrow with more videos and lessons. So that way you can stay on track throughout your entire virtual schooling experience. As always, you can join the live chats at 8:30 and 10:30 every day and reach out. Make sure you check your Gmail frequently because you may get emails from me or Miss Reinders, Miss Phillips if you have her, or Miss Johnson for math. That's it for today. So we'll see you guys and have a good weekend. Bye.